Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm Courtney Wallace. We honor our veterans every November, but the challenges they face here at home can't be ignored. Employment, education, health, and fitting back into friendships and family are just some of the challenges that veterans face. On Point's Robert Zamora has more.
Thank you, Courtney. Here today with me, I have Juan Flores, who is a CSUN student here and Marine veteran. Joaquin Marinez, counselor at the Disabilities Resources and Educational Services, and Patrina Croisdale, a coordinator at the VRC. Thank you all for joining me. My first question is for all of you, but let's start with Patrina. What do you think is the hardest adjustment for a veteran to make when they come back from deployment?
I think that that's a tough question, just because I myself, even though I'm the coordinator of the Veterans Resource Center and I work with veterans every day, I'm not a veteran myself, so I don't really feel like I can speak for their experiences, and I don't know firsthand what that challenge feels like. But what I would say, and from what I've heard from some students, is the biggest challenge in making that transition would be the difference in the military culture versus the civilian culture when they come back. And so there's just a lot of different traits and characteristics from one culture to the next that makes it difficult.
Yeah, I think I'm right on board with Patrina. Some of the experiences that I've heard from particular student veterans is transitioning into a much greater institution where, you know, especially here at CSUN, housing about 38,000 students, and being able to access the resources and getting familiar with the processes on how to access some of these resources, and just adjusting to the academics.
And Juan, as a veteran, what do you think was the hardest adjustment for you?
I think not just deployment, but also being a civilian is actually having people understand you. I want to say like professors, you know, just because you're a veteran and you have PTSD, sometimes they don't like, you know, as far as accommodate you or try to understand you. They just feel like you're just a normal civilian, just like any other of us. Like, okay, you did your time. And as far as also with students, you know, trying to just like being like them, you know, I do feel myself a little bit hard to adjust with like most of the like students. Obviously, that's the greater population here. Us veterans are like very small. So being able to hang out with them, try to fit with them, to me, that's been a difficult, and try to relate to them.
Okay, well, thank you all. And Juan, let's go to you. As a veteran, give us some of your own experiences you had when you were deployed. Stuff like, what did you eat? Where did you sleep? Were you constantly on the run? Were you stationed? What was the day-to-day activities like for yourself?
I was a truck driver. We did a lot of convoys. We like left the camp. We left the wire. And just day to day was transport supplies, foods, ammunition, weapons to other smaller bases and support to them. Some of the stuff that I got involved was I did foot patrols and we did census, as far as census, like getting accountability of Iraqis, and you know, because over there they don't have any technology, so that's for our safety. We were trying to keep accountability of them and know how many people were in a certain small town. Pretty much it. I mean, yes.
Okay, and then when you came back, what were some of the resources you were looking for to help you adjust? If there were any resources you seeked out, or did you try to adjust on your own?
There was questionnaires that when we came back they gave us, like as far as how we were feeling mentally, pretty much mentally. Just one of the things that I found about a year after I came back from my second deployment was difficulty sleeping, and I didn't know what was going on with myself until later on. It didn't take me about 3 years to I was diagnosed with PTSD, but difficulty sleeping was one of the hardest, or the first things, and that's when I started seeing a doctor while I was still in. So, but there's other stuff out there.
Okay. And let's piggyback off of that for a little bit. As you said, you were diagnosed with PTSD. The graph behind me, it shows post-traumatic stress disorder among veterans. 22% of veterans suffer from PTSD or major depression. 1 out of every 3 seek help. A veteran dies by suicide every 80 minutes. So how do you adjust to living with PTSD, not only here at school but just in your everyday life? Was it a major adjustment?
Yeah, I guess I was in denial at first, and I guess I had anger and really bad anger, mood swings from being happy to like being depressed and then being angry, and that was my anger actually being told, oh, you have this, and I was just rage, until I finally said, well, I'm getting angry too much, and I actually seek help. And I guess you just got to realize, you know, there's something wrong with you, and be able to like put that effort and try to see somebody. And from there on, if you think, you know, or from the professionals, if they think you have something, then continue on with the process. But to me, that's what helped me, you know, like knowing that, or I felt like I had something wrong with me besides the sleep part with my mood swings. And I just had a couple people, I also like friends tell me that, you know what's wrong with me. So from there, that's when I realized, you know, I need to go seek help.
Okay. Let's go to Patrina and Joaquin. First, Patrina, what are some of the resources that the VRC offers for students here at CSUN?
So we offer resources for all of our veteran students here at CSUN, and what we like to do is we like to support our veteran students in any way that can help them on a personal level, academic, or professional level. And we do this through support services, community building, and providing resources. So one of the big things that we're working on right now is community building events. We found that we tried out a mentor program in the past, and that wasn't quite as successful because a lot of our veteran students, they're used to serving others. So a lot of them wanted to be a mentor, but weren't necessarily asking to be a mentee or to receive the help. So what we've done instead is we've been working more on the concept of camaraderie. So that's something that's really big in the military. So going with that concept and doing community building events. So one thing that we do through the Veterans Resource Center here at CSUN is we organize community service events. In the past, we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity. Another thing that we're doing is a fitness challenge. So just to engage that competitive side of our students, which is all of our events and our services are open to all students. Of course, our focus is on veterans, but they're also open to allies, dependents, spouses, and so on and so forth. So just a lot of community building events. We have our weekly Meet, Relax, and Eat, which is just, you know, casual coffee, talk to other veteran students, just, you know, creating the bonds in that type of way.
And Joaquin?
Yeah, through the Disability Resources and Educational Services Department, we offer services for students, veteran students, if they have a diagnosis or some type of disability, whether it's a physical disability, mental health related, or even a learning disability. Some of the services that we offer include accommodations, so being able to identify what accommodations might be helpful for the student. We also offer support services such as our TAP program, which stands for the Thriving and Achieving program, where we have academic coaches that work with our students on a one-on-one basis in helping them improve their academic skills. So, you know, time management, organization, et cetera. And then we also have our workability program, which is career services related, helping students explore careers, you know, doing mock interviews and helping them support for the end result of what they want to do after CSUN.
Okay. And Juan, have you utilized any of these resources on campus? And if so, how have you found them effective? If you haven't gone there, why haven't you gone there?
I have actually used the TAP coach program, and I found, you know, my TAP coach actually showed me different study skills, like Joaquin said, time management, set up a plan, a calendar, just different things about my personality, strengths. You know, the VRC, I've been there a couple times. You know, I dealt with a couple of veterans, but just VRC, I don't have much time to go there, so. But the DRES is definitely, I really go there a lot, any issues, and I see a counselor and take my exams there, but that's pretty much my primary source.
Okay. And then this is directed for all of you. Let's start with Patrina also again. Why do you think veterans may not know about what resources are available? Is it not enough promotion? Do they just not want to seek out the help? Why might they not seek out help?
I think sometimes it is hard for us through the Resource Center to reach out to our veteran students, just because some veterans, they actually don't want to be identified, which is completely okay, and we respect that 100%. So I would say that students not always wanting to identify might be a barrier. And then sometimes it's just, you know, getting the word out there. So that's something that we are trying to strengthen within the Veterans Resource Center, is doing outreach in a lot of different ways. So social media, in classrooms, and we're also, our biggest thing we're doing right now is community college outreach. So contacting those students before they even transfer.
And Joaquin?
Yeah, same with our office. We try to do as much outreach as we can, whether it's participating at VRC events or other events on campus to promote that. Just from personal experience in meeting with some of our veteran students, it's sometimes a psychological process in accepting that the student may have a disability, and that may take some time for some students. For others, it's not knowing that about the resources that are available to them, saying, well, I have a disability, but I wasn't quite sure whether or not I qualify to receive services. So that's sort of been my gauge with some of my contacts with veteran students.
And Juan, why do you think some veterans might not know about the resources available?
Some of the resources, well, maybe just, probably it's not thrown out there, you know, but it is, I mean, they probably don't get involved much with the campus, maybe just go straight to class. But I think that's pretty much it, you know, honestly, because, you know, almost every school nowadays has a VRC. I've been to community colleges and they have it and stuff. And I've been through them. I went and checked it out, and then if I like it, I'll go. If I don't, I don't. So probably just needs to get thrown out there a little bit more. That way they know, and they can go check it out. And if not, you know, then they don't really have to be there.
Okay. And then, Juan, let's go back to your personal experiences. When you came back from deployment, how was it adjusting to the civilian life? Was it easy for you to decide to go to school? Are you struggling to find a job? Do you have a job? What about health care? Are you involved in that? And even just seeing your family, how, like, emotionally was that for you?
After getting out or after
deployment?
deployment?
When you came back from deployment, getting out.
Getting out, I wasn't too much worried about a job. My goal was I was already set on plan to go to college. I had already taken a couple classes roughly about a year before I got out, so I could try to get the feeling of what the college life was. But it was, you know, I was still a Marine, but once I got out, it was definitely difficult. Like I said, you know, adjusting to hanging out with students, particularly because a lot of them were younger than me, at least 5-6 years. When I got out, I was 26. As far as my family, you know, I kind of felt like I actually got to see them more when I was in, because I would try to go home almost every weekend or every holiday weekend. Now it's like, for some reason, I feel like I try to avoid my family. It's still difficult to adjust right now. Yeah.
Okay. Patrina and Joaquin, I want to go back to you. When you're in the offices and a veteran comes up to the office, what are some of the common things they're looking for? Is it help in the classroom? Is it just someone to network? They want to reach out? What are some of the common things that they look for? Joaquin, let's start with you.
As far as my experience goes in working with veteran students, when they first initially come to our office, they're wanting to discuss their diagnosis and how it impacts them in their current academics. So talking about inside the classroom. And a lot of students have reported, attention concentration issues. Sometimes when their symptoms are triggered, they're having to, they get a bit hypervigilant about being in the classroom. So then we look for support as far as accommodations go. Some general accommodations, that I've approved in the past before have been maybe priority seating. When we think of priority seating, we want to think about the front of the classroom, but for some of our veteran students, it's more at the back end of the classroom. In case the symptoms are triggered, they're able to step out. We also discussed note-taking strategies or note-taking accommodations, and that varies on student per student. And we also approve students for testing accommodations, because sometimes when these symptoms are triggered, again, especially when students are having to take exams, it's a pretty stressful situation to be under. And sometimes, that's heightened for students, so we try to provide an area for testing where it's lesser distracting and they get more extended time. And then we look at other alternative accommodations. But that's sort of the support inside the classroom and the classroom dynamics.
And Patrina, the VRC?
Wow, there's a variety of needs that students have.
Right.
It's such a wide variety. What I would say is when they come into the center, it's everything from just wanting to come in and use the computer lab to do homework. Sometimes it's just having a few minutes to relax on our couch space and watch a movie between classes. Other times they are asking questions about maybe getting a job, scholarship, finding housing, tutoring services on campus. Sometimes we refer them to DRES as well. So there's a variety of needs. We also serve, particularly myself as the coordinator, I serve as an advocate for our veteran students. So sometimes students email me and say, hey, I'm having this problem on campus. Whether it's with a professor, maybe they had a challenge in class or something, and then I can go ahead and support them in speaking to that professor if they don't feel comfortable approaching the situation alone. So we're just there to provide that extra support and lead them in the right direction and connect them with the right resources that'll help them best.
And you mentioned scholarships. What type of scholarships are available for veterans? Like, can you elaborate on what specifically that may be?
It's a wide variety. They come up periodically. Sometimes they're private scholarships. Individuals want to donate money towards a student veteran's tuition, and so it's just that extra support. Sometimes the requirements are very broad, and sometimes it's for a very specific major. One time it was just for a student who was a Marine. They had to be a Marine, so it just varies.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Joaquin, I'd like to go to you now. Can you talk about some of the support services programs you guys have? Like, I have here, you have 3 different types: the transition year, the foundation years, and the university and beyond. Can you?
Yeah, so the foundation is more geared toward incoming freshmen, but as we know, a lot of our veteran students are a little bit older, so they come in more as a transfer student. So when we're talking about that journey to success, as we call it, we really work with our students on developing what you call a journey to success. So thinking about what their end goal is and thinking about what are the necessary steps for them to get there. So identifying what resources they're using on campus, external, internal support, curricular activities, their strengths. I think that's very important in what students know about their strengths and how to capitalize in using those. So we work with them on a semester-to-semester plan through our office. And then we try to prepare them and get them engaged into the TAP program so they can have a smoother transition into the institution. And also, we also start thinking about what they're going to do after CSUN. So not only preparing them for campus and what they're doing, but while they're here, how they can maximize their time here and start looking for volunteer sites, internships, so they get that experience and exposure. So when they come out, they have a higher chance of getting hired. So that's the beyond piece there.
Okay. And then, are there any type of events that the DRES or the VRC put together for these? Like, I know you mentioned sometimes they just want to meet with other veterans to interact. Are there events that happen?
There's definitely events that happen. Every Tuesday of the week from 5 to 7, we have Meet, Relax, and Eat. So this is our coffee night, which is very casual, social. We play games and things like that. Once a month, the first Thursday, we have Neon Nights. So that's a little bit more of a lively atmosphere, also a very social event. And then the week of Veterans Day, we're having Veterans Awareness Week, which is going to be really great. It's the first year that CSUN and through the University Student Union, we're expanding this celebration from 1 day out to 1 week, which really says a lot in how much this campus supports our veteran students. So there's going to be events going on throughout the whole week.
What are some of those events during the Veterans Week, or are you still trying to plan them out?
No, we actually do have them planned out so far. So we are doing 1 day, which is going to be tabling. Students will be able to come and participate in an art project that we're going to be donating towards an organization who supports veterans and works with veterans every day, specifically those suffering from depression or PTSD. This is called 22 is Too Many, referring to the 22 veterans who complete suicide each day. And we just want to provide a little hope and support to those who might need it. We're also doing Operation Comedy, which is a comedy show. That one's going to be really fun on Friday, the 14th. We're having our biggest celebration, so the VRC block party in the USU. This is going to be a 4-hour event with activities, barbecue, live band, DJ. It's going to be great. And we're also having a student veteran story panel where veteran students have volunteered to share their experience. There's going to be an opportunity for a little Q&A at the end as well.
Are these resources and events that they just mentioned, is that enough for someone who is coming back, a veteran, to adjust, or should there be something else? Should there be more?
I feel like it's enough for school-wise. Obviously, if you have like a mental disability, go to the Veterans Clinic and see a doctor. But here at school, I think it's enough because, you know, I definitely go to DRES. I do go to the events. I've gone to the MRE on Tuesdays in the past. You know, like last year when it was my first school year here, I went to the Veterans Day, the lunch they had. You know, I caught up with some of the prior Marines that I've met here. And I like it, and I think it's enough. I honestly do think it's enough. It's just you got to seek out and look for it.
And when you attend these events, do you think the other veterans coming in enjoy it as well? Like, or do they kind of talk about the hardships that they have and still trying to adjust? Like, what are some of the other veterans saying?
I
Or
feel like
do you
they're
not even talk about it?
I tried to, well, I myself, I usually with other veterans, or I try not to, like, even the hardships, try not to talk about it as much. Sometimes if it's really bad, definitely yes. Sometimes you want to vent, but, you know, I usually go to my doctor for any hardships, but just here, you know, just trying to have the best time, trying to make it a good time, you know, try to have a good spirit, and, you know, so I could enjoy school. So that's pretty much it. And I do see them having a good time because they do catch up. You know, like that Veterans Lunch last year for Veterans Day, they were getting together. I didn't see anyone sad or depressed, but I mean, it is a wonderful day for us veterans.
And then you talked about the hardships just right
Yeah.
now. How is it for you and maybe for other veterans when students come up to you and they know you're a veteran, or they see maybe a veteran dressed in their attire, when they come up to you and say, oh, how was it? Like when they, I guess, try to get the most information out of you about your hardships, do you just want to say, like, I don't want to talk about that? Do you talk about it?
Sometimes they have, like I said before, like really straight out questions. It just really bothers me and really angers me a lot, the way they ask. You know, it just feels like they don't think about before they ask. So maybe they should think about it. You know, especially students who don't know anyone in the military before, and I think they just want to know, like, a straight out information from you. So they should just think about it before they ask, because you never know what kind of veteran they ask, and they'll probably be really pissed. So, but to me, you know, like I've been going to seeing a doctor, and I feel like I have mine under control pretty well.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does, thank
Okay.
you. Let's wrap this up with one final question. With all of you, but let's start with Patrina again. What can be done to, we talked about it earlier, what can be done to better advertise these resources so that you can reach all the veterans here, both who may not know about it, who may not want to seek out the help? What can be done for the future for these resources to be better aware?
That's a question that I ask myself every single day. Of course, as the coordinator, I want to reach out to all 750 veterans on this campus. But the truth is, like I said earlier, not every single one of them wants me to find them. So I really have to respect that, and I do. For those who do want to reach out to us and want to seek help, or not even seek help, but just want to come into the center and meet other veterans, one thing that we are trying to work on is over 80% of our veteran students that are here at CSUN are transfer students, which means that they came from a community college. So we are going out to community colleges, especially local ones, and just letting them know what we have here at CSUN for them once they get here. So that this way it's more of a friendly hand that we're reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, we're here if you want, to come and talk to us. Just even giving them our contact information so that they can contact us with any questions before they even get to CSUN, and hopefully that will help.
For me, it's collaborating with the departments like the VRC or the office, VA, in admissions, and just using that more strategically and tapping into them to spread the word about the different services. I think that's a great tool to use and to capitalize, to be able to reach out to the different veterans in different areas by different individuals.
And Juan, you said these resources are enough, but do you think they are putting themselves out there enough?
I feel like they have. I do see signs and they say VRC and different things. And as a veteran, I'm pretty sure, you'll get the idea what it's out there. Even myself, I've done it before where I ran into a veteran or two since I've been here and they didn't know there was a VRC. And I told them, it's right by the gym, just in close words, just because they don't know what the SRC is either. So I tell them it's close by the gym and stuff. And so I guess it should throw it out there for them. But, if anything, I guess like other veterans like myself, and there's another veteran, they don't know the VRCs here, the DRES for what, and what you can use them, just let them know, the DRES is for what, and the VRC is, just a place where you can go relax, talk to other veterans, and, I didn't even know there was a coordinator there, so now there's one. So yeah, I think that's how it is, pretty much.
Thank you all for joining me here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.